it's Corinne with Thompson RV in Pendleton, Oregon. Today I am here to show you a 2025 Backcountry 20BD in the titanium series. So we have a lot of new exciting prototypes that are coming from Outdoors RV. So I want to make sure that if you aren't already following our channel and subscribed, be sure you do that, because then you'll get a notification when we drop the new videos that are coming out soon. So without saying much more than that, the 20BD is going to be in the Backcountry series. So if you're unfamiliar with Outdoors RV, Backcountry series are all the models that you can get the generator on. So if you're looking at a Creekside, a Timber Ridge, a Blackstone, there is not an option to add a generator to those models. But they have been taking a handful of the floor plans in those different models, series, and bringing them over to the Backcountry series, slightly tweaked, so that you can get the 100 gallons of water, the pistol safe next to the bed, which of course we could add to one of those other models, the onboard generator, and then a few other little options that I'll show you when we get to the outside. So the coolest thing about the 20BD and why it has been one of our most popular backcountry models is because it's going to be the shortest floor plan, right? So it is short enough to get it anywhere you want to go. And then there's just the simplicity of not having a slide out, right? So most people out there are going to want to slide, right? Maybe even 2 or 3. But there are a handful of people that they just want to be able to go somewhere, park, and not have to worry about a thing. So the 20BD, obviously, because it's a non-slide model, when you don't have to worry about, can I get to the bathroom when the slide out's in? Can I access the bedroom? You have access. Everything is fully usable with no slide. My parents, they took this model back in 2017 when the solar eclipse was going to be at its peak over Oregon. But where it was peaking was in the middle of nowhere up in the mountains. So they ordered one of these units so that they could get it up into the boonies and watch the solar eclipse. And this model worked out perfect. So they ended up using it that whole summer. So we often would camp together, and it was really cool to have this little floor plan. In fact, let me see, back then I crammed all of my kids, so 3 boys plus my parents. We were all in their trailer doing things and having dinner. So it can fit a lot of people. I took this same model down to Utah, down to Moab, and I had a couple boys sleeping up on the dinette and one on the floor on a thermarest. So if you're curious how many you can fit in here, you can fit more than probably you should. But it's a great, great floor plan, especially, like I said, if you want to stay small. And then with 100 gallons of water and an onboard generator, it's the perfect bug out vehicle, right? So if you need to have something that you can rely on in case of brownouts, blackouts, whatever natural disaster may occur, this would be the perfect unit for that sort of thing as well. Actually, any of the backcountries would be. One common misconception I get, though, is that the backcountry is going to be more off-grid than the rest of the outdoors RVs. So the Creekside, Timber Ridge, Blackstone, Glacier Peak, all of those models are still going to have the same solar capabilities. And now with a 12-volt fridge that's running off of lithium battery power, you have the option of being able to be off-grid with any of those models. You just don't have the built-in gen. When that's going to come in handy is being in the middle of nowhere, not having plug-ins. You can kick on the generator, and then you can start your air conditioner, your microwave, blow dryer, coffee pot. Any of your 110 plug-in would operate. So Vitamix, anything you plug into 110 or use off of 110 would work off of that generator. So with that being said, this model is short enough that it is a single entry model. So you have one door here at the end of the trailer. When you walk in, the titanium series is going to come with the remote that operates. On this model, there's no slide, so just the awning and the awning light. You have your auto leveling screen. There's also one in the front compartment that I'll show you, but this is one if you need to get in and check things on your auto leveling system. This is how you would access that. Your generator switch, fresh tank water heater. So we option in the 12-volt heat pad on the fresh water tank. Now, outdoors RVs are all 4 seasons, right? So when you're running your furnace, you have a fully enclosed, insulated and heated floor so that all the tanks are fully enclosed and heated. This would be more for traveling down the road in freezing temperatures. Right here is where you would check your tank gauges, and then you've got your LP water heater as well as electric. So if you are plugged in, you can run it off of electric. Water pump switch, light switches, awning switch, right? One cool thing about this model is going to be all of the windows. Unfortunately, we're inside today, so you can't quite see. I will link a video at the end of this video that shows you sort of a walk around of the whole floor plan, and that was done outside. But it is pouring down rain, so we are inside today. Beautiful back windows. The U-shaped dinette is great. The TV is going to be right over here. So I do like the U-shaped dinette in this model in the sense that you can sit in this corner and put your feet up. In fact, when I took this one to Moab, we left this down in the bed position so that more of us could sit here and watch television. So it kind of turns into like a little bit of a settee. The titanium series, everything's going to be trimmed out in wood instead of Formica. So all of these are going to be nicer than on the standard series. You're going to get the slow rise blackout shades. The titanium series is going to have slightly different interior. So the tabletop, the countertop, you're going to get the solid surface countertops throughout the coach, so not just here in the kitchen. You've got your TV right here, and they are always on a swivel. I'm not sure why in this particular model you would necessarily need to swivel it, but if you did, you can swivel it. It's kind of in the right position though for where you're sitting right here. You have a CD, DVD player right here. This is also Bluetooth, so you can link your phone and listen to music either through the inside speakers or outside speakers or both. You also have HDMI and USB ports. Outdoors RV, like I stated earlier, has gone all 12-volt refrigerators. So those are bigger than the gas electric. So this is now a 10 cubic foot 12-volt refrigerator. You can really see the depth here in the freezer especially. These operate amazingly well. They cool down super quick. The only trick is that you do want to make sure you have lithium batteries. Lithium batteries are not included in the outdoors RVs, but that's what we would recommend to operate this properly so that they always get steady voltage. So typically if somebody wants to boondock, we are recommending 300 amp hour Battleborn batteries. Then we have our special lockbox that I'll show you on the front. Ducted air conditioning, which is really nice. Some models, when they get short like this, other brands won't duct the air conditioning in the ceiling. It's really nice that this one is ducted because it just pushes the air out a little farther. Get a couple extra hooks right here. Digital thermostat on the titanium series. And then one thing to note on the titanium that I feel like everybody always comments when they buy sight unseen from the East Coast, Alaska, wherever, when they get here, the most common thing I hear is, oh my gosh, this looks so much nicer in person even than it did in the videos. And one of those things is the cabinetry. So in a standard outdoors RV, they're still really nice cabinets, but they are a thin piece of paneling here in the center. With the titanium, you're going to get solid hardwood around the outside, but also a raised solid hardwood panel inside. You really notice when you open and close the cabinets how nice they are. So you have storage up above the sink. You have a spice rack right here. More storage underneath the sink, and it's huge. So you've got plenty of room for a garbage can. 3 drawers. An outdoors RV does all of their drawers. They have solid hardwood faces, and they're all done on heavy duty ball bearing drawer guides. Flip up countertop extension if you need a little extra counter space. I also love their heavy duty sink covers that cover the sink so that when you are not using it, you have extra counter space. They kind of try and maximize as much counter space as possible. Single basin stainless steel sink with the wire rack in the bottom. Titanium will come with the high arc faucet. 110 outlet right here, as well as right here. In any video, if I don't point out the 110 outlets, that's because they're tucked up underneath the cabinets. Titanium is going to come with the stainless steel appliances, so stainless steel microwave, the vent over the range, and then you have, again, additional counter space. When this is down, it gives you extra counter space if you're not using the stove. You have a knife rack right back here. When you want to cook on the stove, you just flip this open. I love that there's extra counter space here because then you can have your pot handles off to the side. 3 burner stove with this one being high output. One of the coolest titanium features, it's so small, but it is so awesome, is that you don't have to get down here and manually light the pilot light. It has a direct spark ignition for the oven pilot. Additional storage over here as well as here. And then up here, this one you can use as a pantry, or you have removable shelves. So you can hang coats or longer items here. But if you want, like I said, you can remove these shelves. And then a couple more drawers right down below. Coming into the bedroom, another amazing feature on the titanium series is going to be the $1,200 upgraded mattress. So this is a really nice memory foam mattress. You've probably heard me say it a million times, but we have these throughout our house because we loved our mattress in our RV so much that I ended up swapping out mine. My kids, everybody's got a good mattress. In fact, we like them so much. I actually just met the sweet family that makes these. Their family owns and operates this business out of Indiana, and we are now going to sell their home mattresses, because you would not believe the amount of calls that I get after people have spent a couple weeks in their trailer and they come home and they realize that, yep, Corinne was right. The mattress in here is actually more comfortable than my home mattress. So we are now a dealer, so you can call, order a home mattress. So they're just going to be thicker. You can get the king size, the actual queen size, and then they just drop ship them directly to your house. So that's awesome. Again, solid surface countertops next to the bed on the titanium series, as well as under cabinet lighting and directional reading lights. So the non-titanium will come with a light right there and right there, but you turn it on and it just shines in everybody's eyes, especially if you're trying to read a book. It's just blinding, doesn't even show your book's in the dark. So I love having lights that I can actually point where I want them. This is a pretty standard wardrobe setup. Anything in an outdoors RV that has the north-south bed is going to have this type of overhead storage and this type of closet storage on each side of the bed. You're also going to get a 110 outlet on each side of the bed, as well as 12-volt outlet and USB ports. And because it's a titanium, you are going to get the 12-volt 19-inch TV with a DVD player in the side in the bedroom. The TV out there is also 12 volts. So that's important to note, that if you are just operating off of battery power, you do not have to start up a generator or be plugged in order to operate the television. And then we option all of ours in with the Max Air Deluxe vent fan. So that operates off of a remote that's on the passenger side wall there. It's a 10-speed fully automatic, and it will do intake or exhaust. And you can run it going down the road in the rain because the cover will always be over the entire vent. So that's a must-have. We option it into all of our outdoors RVs. One thing I think is amazing is that in this short of a trailer with no slide outs, Outdoors RV has managed to give you a full walk-around queen bed, a full kitchen, awesome back dinette, and this big of a bathroom, right? So the way they've positioned the porcelain toilet, you have plenty of leg room here in front of the toilet. You have your heat duct and air conditioning duct that you get in all models. The titanium is going to come with the lit vanity mirror. You have a couple towel hooks behind the toilet. You also have a pump switch, which is really nice if you are going down the road and you forgot to hit the pump switch on the wall coming in. You can actually just do that right here in the bathroom. Max Air vent fan in the bathroom is always going to be exhaust only, and that runs off of the wall switch. But there's a ton of counter space in this model. So you've got your underslung stainless steel sink, that's a titanium feature, as well as the solid surface countertop. But it's elongated, so you have extra storage on the left-hand side. You have extra storage down below here. The solid hardwood medicine cabinet. Another towel hook by the sink. And then in this model, it's going to be a tub style shower, but still plenty of elbow room. And because it's a titanium, you're going to get the adjustable shower head that moves up and down, as well as the soap dish. You always have a skylight up above to give you a little added height if you need it. And then I do really like this retractable shower curtain because when you pull it forward, and if it gets wet, obviously it's going to because you're in a shower, when you retract it, it's all going to drain off and into the tub. The Titanium series has some really great features that are going to be found on the exterior of the trailer. Auto leveling. That alone is worth its weight in gold. When you get to where you're going, you push a button and the trailer auto levels itself. That is my favorite feature. You're also going to get the gray Lamilux 4000 high gloss fiberglass. So that is going to be a thicker, higher grade of fiberglass over the Mountain series, but it also has more shine to it. So it's going to stay shinier for a lot longer. And it really looks amazing with the backcountry graphics. You're also going to get the dual pane frameless windows. So the frameless windows are nice because that is going to be just a sleeker look, even though both are going to be dual pane. Of course, you're going to get the electric awning. It's going to have the aluminum wrap, just like on all of the Outdoors RVs. 2 outside speakers that we talked about earlier, so you can Bluetooth your phone inside or listen to CDs, and you can play the music out under the awning. 10-gallon gas electric water heater. On all of the Outdoors RVs, you're also going to get the Off-Road X4 suspension package. Even this little tiny 20-footer is going to come with the 16-inch wheels and tires, Load Range E. But then the Off-Road X4 suspension package is going to be the All-Trek 4000 More Ride suspension, heavy-duty shackles with bronze bushings, greasable zerts, and then also the KYB off-road shocks. Obviously, you'd never buy a car today that didn't have suspension, yet most of the RVs on the market do not come with anything but leaf springs. Having an upgraded suspension, whether it's for freeway travel or for off-roading, is absolutely amazing. It's a must-have, in my opinion, on everything. And the KYB shocks are not just for off-road or potholes, but also for body roll. On the Titanium, you're also going to get everything trimmed out in chrome, so the chrome grab bar handle as well as the locks. You're going to get the Lippert solid step on this particular model. Coming back over here, you're going to have the 110 outlet, so you can plug something in under your awning if you're sitting out here enjoying it. Right here, you're going to have a hatch that opens up, and you can reach in easier to get to an LP quick disconnect for either a fire pit or a barbecue. The Titanium is going to come with a rear observation camera, and that also works in conjunction with these side marker cameras. And then because it's a backcountry, it's going to have the generator on the opposite side. So on this side, they're going to give you the heavy-duty More Ride slide-out tray. That way you can access everything here in the compartment easily. This hose, instead of an outside shower, they're going to give you like an outside pressure washer, more or less. It's a spray port. So this will plug into that, and then you have a hose, shovel and axe holder. And then also in here, you've got the solar charge controller. Now the 20BD is short enough that it only comes with up to 600 watts of solar. So you can't do the 1000-watt option on the 20BD, but on the 21 RWS and above, you absolutely can. So it's going to be similar to the Creekside models. You can do 600 watts, but when you get up into the Timber Ridge, the 22 FQS and above, then you can get the 1000-watt option if that's something you want. People often ask, when would I need 1000 watts of solar? My answer to that would be typically your off-season camping. So November, December, January, February, March, probably those seasons, low daylight hours, maybe less sunlight. Obviously, you'd be running your furnace at that point too, so a little bit more 12-volt draw. 600 watts is going to be great for most people that are camping May through September, October. In this compartment too, you have your auto leveling, you have your 12-volt and USB charge ports, as well as your battery kill switch, and an LED strip light that runs the entire length of the compartment. You have another port for up to 200 watts of portable solar here on the side. We were converting that for people to a Starlink port, but now we have another way to do a Starlink port. So if that's something you want, we can add that below, and then you still keep your 200-watt solar port. So that's kind of handy if you do like to park in the trees. So maybe your solar isn't going to be running at 100%. right? Then you can run your portable panel out into the sunlight and capture more of that solar power to charge your batteries. So this little 20BD is going to be built on the same frame that the Timber Ridge and Up are, so the 8-inch I-beam chassis, a 100-gallon water tank, and then you're also going to get the full fiberglass front cap. This is our custom powder-coated aluminum lock box. We have that built here in town by a local family that does aluminum work. So they custom build us this box so that we can fit up to 300 amp hour Battle-Born batteries in there, and then you can lock it so you're not going to lose your investment. The toy lock right here on the front, that is going to come in conjunction with the rear hitch on the back of the trailer. On the backcountry, you're going to get 10-gallon propane tanks instead of 7.5-gallon, and that's because you're going to have the onboard generator that's running off of propane. You get a front power jack, and this works in conjunction with the auto leveling system. I just had somebody the other day ask me if the foot was supposed to be off the ground, and yes, it is. So when you've auto leveled, it is supposed to be off the ground, just like that. You have a hitch caddy right here, 7-way cord, your safety chains and your breakaway cable can all be stored here when not in use, so they're not laying on the ground. And then the underslung coupler, that's going to give you a lower hitch height. So when you're disconnected from the trailer, maybe you need to run to town for groceries, you can open up your tailgate because the hitch will be lower. Coming around on this side, you're going to have your Onan 3600 LP generator, another side marker camera. This is where you're going to fill your 100-gallon fresh water tank. Right here is access to the gray and black handles. And then you would dump right out of, right over here is going to be where you'll connect your sewer hose. And then they do give you a light here at the outside. Here is going to be your spray port. So this is where you're going to connect that blue coil hose. And this switch right here is going to turn on this pump. So it operates off of a separate water pump. It's not the same one that's running throughout the rest of the coach. Insulated door. They always give you an insulated door on all of the outside showers. Black tank flush, city water connection, cable and satellite hookups. This is where you're going to hook up your 30 amp power cord. Super cool that when they went to this twist lock style cord, because it doesn't give mice a chance to get up and into the trailer. That's like the #1 place that mice would come in, is the power cord that used to shove into a compartment in the trailer. Mice would just crawl right up the cord, and then boom, they had access to your trailer. Which brings me to another point here at Thompson RV. The reason people come from all over the United States to buy their trailers here is because of our service before they ever leave here. So not only do we go through and make sure everything is in perfect working order, check all of the water lines, everything, you name it, we check it, but we also go around with a creeper and with pond foam. So yes, it's a fully enclosed and heated underbelly, but we like to go through and seal up any gaps that critters could possibly get in. So that's just one of those ways that we kind of go above and beyond, not to mention just the serious amount of man hours that we spend on each trailer before they leave, because so many of you are coming from so far away that we want to make sure that the trailer is perfect. So when you take it out on the road, let's say you're in Pennsylvania, Ohio, wherever, that you're going to have the best quality trailer, but pre-serviced by the best dealership and the best technicians. Access and venting for your furnace. Coming around to the back, you've got the 4-inch steel bumper, and you can slide your sewer hose in here for storage. The titanium is going to come with backup lights, as well as your rear observation camera. I will tell you that the backup lights, I can't even count how many times I have pulled into my spot late at night, and it's a back-in sight. Having lights that illuminate the space is awesome. I can't even imagine not having one with backup lights. Titanium series is worth its weight in gold. I know I say it every time, but that's why here at Thompson RV we stock almost all titaniums, is because the features really, really do matter. 2-inch rear receiver hitch here on the back. That's good for up to 250 pounds. So if you have e-bikes or a generator, you wouldn't need a generator on this model, a cooler, something of that nature that you want to haul on the back, you've got the 2-inch receiver there. And that is an option that we option into all of our units. You have a full-size spare tire with a Thompson RV spare tire cover. And then you have a nice heavy duty ladder here on the back as well. We recommend getting up onto your roof. It is a full walk-on roof, but we recommend getting up there every 6 months to check your roof sealants. If you have any questions, we greatly appreciate you watching this video. Stay tuned for all of the new prototypes that are coming out. We've got some really exciting news. And if you have any questions, please feel free to talk to anybody here at Thompson RV. Everybody here owns an outdoors RV product, so everyone is extremely knowledgeable. And we have our number listed down below.